Hi, in this video, we are going to learn about force and the effect of force on the motion of an object. So let's look at the train. This is a crate that is being pushed on a train, and we can add as much weight as possible on the crate. For the time being, let's put 50 kilograms, and you can apply. This is a person who can push, so you can push from either side. Let's say you want to push from left to right. So if you let's restart. Let's stop it, and we can always restart. Let's start now. Let's apply some force on the crate. Now I'm applying um, such an element of force. Now let's apply some force. So apply 50 newtons of force on this, and let's look at the speed. This is the speed meter of the crate. Let's start with less force. Let's start with 100 newtons of force. Now you can see there is some applied force, and as you can see, the speed of the object is gradually increasing. This is because the force causes acceleration, and now the speed can be metered here. And as you can see, the speed is gradually increasing. And let's stop the simulation right here. The reason why that person is unable to apply any more force on it is because he is unable to keep up the speed to apply the same amount of force, and this is a maximum speed has already been reached. So we need to think of a realistic problem where the person keeps on applying some speed. So for that to happen, we need to reassess and see. We can put more weight, and we can put the applied person. Okay, so we can restart. Now we'll start with a lot of weight so that the person will be keeping on applying some force, and the velocity value will not be too high. So for that purpose, we need to apply very less force. Let's start with only 50 newtons. Only maybe even less, maybe even like 10 newtons of force. Now, if you apply only 10 newtons of force, do you think this body will move? Yes, it will move, because the reason is it is moving. And do you think it will gain speed as we go along? Yes, it will, because even though the force is very small, it the effect, what is the effect of force? The effect of force is to create acceleration. So even though I don't increase the force, the speed of the object will keep on increasing. And if I wait long enough, if you and I are patient enough, so the speed will keep on increasing, and it will reach 30. And then at that point, he won't be able to apply any more force on it, because the object has reached the maximum speed and will keep on going with that speed. So as you can see, now you can believe me that the speed is increasing. Now let's restart and restart the simulation. Now as you can see, if I apply more force, let's start again. Um, let's apply more force. 15 newtons of force. Now you can see you don't need to be that patient anymore. Now you can see the speed increases faster, because the force is very high, and the force is enough to create large amount of acceleration, and that means the speed is increasing rapidly in the situation. So um, and the more the weight we add, if you want to slow down the acceleration, what we need to do is we just add more weight to it, and it will uh, it will still increase in velocity, but it will not increase as fast as earlier. So the more the weight added, the slower the speed increase will be. The speed increases, but rate at which it increases will be less. Now, if we suddenly remove the force, what can you guess what happens? We removed the force. That means what happens to the speed? Will this set of objects come to rest? Absolutely not. Why? Because when there is no force acting on either direction, there is no frictional force. Remember that, no air resistance. So whenever, what does Newton's first law say? Whenever there is no force acting on no net force acting on an object, objects in motion will keep moving in a straight line, and objects at rest will be at rest, right? So this is an object that is moving in a straight line, and it will go on like this indefinitely, forever. That means the speed of this bar will always remain constant as long as there is no force acting on it. But if we apply some force, okay, in the other direction, now what happens? Now the speed of the object, the effect of the force is to reduce the speed of the object, and eventually it will come to rest. This is the role of friction in real life. So the objects that are the cars that are moving on the road, even if the engine stops, they will not keep on going forever like the previous problem, right? So we all have sense that objects that are on a frictional surface will come to rest. So this guy right here is friction. So friction is the one who reduces the velocity of the object by application of opposite force to the motion, and eventually friction stops the vehicles and brings them to rest. And even though we don't see friction, we have to be aware that when in motion there is always friction involved in it. The role of friction is at the surface of contact there is some resistance to motion. So we will learn about friction and the effect of friction in the future classes. So far now you can see this force is up. Now the body temporarily came to rest, and since the force is there, it is again picking up speed in the other direction. You see, now the force will create acceleration, and the velocity will be increasing gradually in the other direction. Now if you want to speed up the process, what do? Obviously, you want to speed up the process, you reduce the weight and then put like small weight and then ask him to push. Okay, smaller weight will accelerate faster, and larger weight will accelerate slower, because force is equal to mass times acceleration. So now let's look at so I think that should give you the basic idea of force and how it increases the velocity of the object or decreases the velocity of the depending on the direction of which the motion is created. So this is something that you guys can do for fun to understand how objects relate. So I hope you're able to follow. So let's look at more complex problems in the future.